بها كل شيء وخضع لها كل شيء وذل لها كل شيء، وبجبروتك التي غلبت بها كل شيء، وبعزتك التي لا يقوم لها شيء، وبعظمتك التي ملأت كل شيء، وبسلطانك الذي على كل شيء، وبوجهك الباقي بعد فناء كل شيء، وبأسمائك التي ملأت أركان كل شيء، وبعلمك الذي أحاط بكل شيء، وبنور وجهك الذي أضاءه كل شيء. يا نور يا قدوس يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحت كل اسم، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل النكم، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تغير النعم، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تحبس الدعاء، اللهم اغفر لي الذنوب التي تنزل البلاء، اللهم اغفر لي كل ذنب أذنبته وكل خطيئة أخطأتها، اللهم إني أتقرب إليك بذكري وأستشفي بك إلى نفسك، وأسألك بجودك أن تدنيني من قربك، وأن توزعني شكرك، وأن تلهمني ذكرك. اللهم إني أسألك سؤال خاضع متذلل خاشع، أن تسامعني وترحمني وتجعلني باسمك راضيا قانيا، وفي جميع الأحوال متواضعا. اللهم وأسألك سؤال من اشتدت فاقته وأنزل بك عند الشدائد حاجته، وعظم فيما عندك رغبته. اللهم عظم سلطانك وعلى مكانك، وخفي مكرك وظهر أمرك، وغلب قهرك وجرت قدرتك، ولا يمكن الفرار من حكومتك. اللهم لا أجد لذنوبي غافرة، ولا لكبائري ساترة، ولا لشيء من عملي الكبير بالحسن مبدلا غيرك. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك وبحمدك ظلمت نفسي وتجرأت بجهلي، وسكنت إلى قديم ذكرك لي ومنك علي. اللهم مولاي كم من كبير سترته، وكم من فاضي من البلاء أكلته، وكم من إثار وكيت، وكم من مكروه دفعته، وكم من ثناء جميل لست أحلا لو نشرت. اللهم عظم بلائي وأفرط بي سوء حالي، وكسرت بي أعمالي، وكادت بي أغلالي، وأحبسني النفس بوضوع عملي، وخدتني الدنيا بغرورها، ونفسي بجنايتها ومثالي. يا سيدي فأسألك بعزتك أن لا يحجب عنك دعائي سوء عملي وفعالي، ولا تفزحني بخفي ما اطلعت عليه من سري، ولا تعجلني بالعقوبة على ما عملت في خلواتي من سوء فعلي وإساءتي ودوام تفريطي وجهالتي وكثرة شهواتي وغفلتي. وكن اللهم بعزتك لي في كل الأحوال رؤوفا، وعلي في جميع الأمور أتوفى. إلهي وربي من لي غيرك، أسأل كشف الضر والنظر في أمري. إلهي ومولاي أجريت علي حكما اتبعت فيه هوى نفسي ولم أحترس في من تزييني عدوي فغرني بما أهوى وأسد ولا ذلك القضاء فتجاوزت بما جرى علي من ذلك بعض حدودك وخالفت بعض أوامرك فلك الحمد علي في جميع ذلك ولا حجة لي فيما جرى علي فيه قضاءك وألزمني حكمك بلاغك وقد أتيتك يا إلهي بعد تقصيري وإسرافي على نفسي معتذرا عادما منكسرا مستقيلا مستغفرا منيبا مقرا مذعنا معترفا لا أجد مفرا مما كان مني ولا مبدأ أتوجه إليه في أمري غير قبولك عذري وإدخالك إياي في سعة من رحمتك اللهم فاقبل عذري وارحم شدة ضري وفكني من شد وثاقي يا رب ارحم ضعف بدني ورقة جلدي ودقة عظمي يا من بدا خلقي وذكري وتربيتي وبري وتغذيتي هبني لابتداء كرمك والسالف برك بي يا إلهي والسيد وربي أتراك معذبي بنارك بعد توحيدك وبعد ما انتوى عليه قلبي من معرفتك وليج بلساني من ذكرك واعتقد ضميري من حبك وبعد صدق اعترافي وآي خاضعا لربوبيتك حياة أنت أكرم من أن تضيع من ربيته أو تبعد من أدنيت أو تشرد من عاويت أو تسلم إلى البلاء من كفيت ورحمت وليت شعري يا سيدي وإلهي ومولاي أتسلط النار على وجوه خرت لعظمتك الساجدة وعلى ألسن نطقت بتوحيدك الصادق وبشكرك مادحا وعلى قلوب اعترفت بإلهيتك محققة ولا ضمائر حوت من العلم بك حتى صارت خاشية وعلى جوارها ساعة الأوطان تعبدك طائية وأشارت باستغفارك مذعنة ما هكذا الظن بك ولا أقبلنا بفضلك عنك يا كريم يا ربي وأنت تعلم ضعفي عن قليل من بلاء الدنيا وعقوباتها وما يجري فيها من المكاره على أهلها على أن ذلك بلاء ومكروه قليل مكثور يسير بقاء كثير مدته فكيف احتمال لبلاء الآخرة وجليل وقوع المكاره فيها وهو بلاء تطول مدته ويدوم مقامه ولا يخفف عن أهله لأنه لا يكون إلا عن غضبك وانتقامك وسخطك وهذا ما لا تقوم له السماوات والأرض يا سيدي فكيف لي وأنا عبدك الضعيف الذليل الحقير المسكين المستكين يا إلهي وربي والسيدي ومولاي لأي الأمور إليك أشكو ولما منها ضج وأبكي لأليم العذاب والشدة أمل طول البلاء ومدتي فلئن سيرتني للعقوبات مع أعدائك وجمعت بيني وبين أهل بلائك وفرقت بيني وبين أحبائك وأوليائك فحبني يا إلهي والسيدي ومولاي وربي صبرت على عذابك فكيف أصبر على فراقك وحبني يا إلهي صبرت على حر نارك، فكيف أصبر عن النظر إلى كرامتك؟ أم كيف أسكن في النار ورجائي عفوك؟ فبعزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم الصادق لئن تركتني لآتك لأضيجن إليك بين أهلها ضجيج العاملين، ولا أصرخن إليك صراخ المستصرخين، ولا أبكين عليك بكاء الفاقدين، ولو نادينك إن كنت يا ولي المؤمنين، يا غاية أعمال العارفين، يا غياث المستغيثين، يا حبيب قلوب الصادقين، ويا إله سبحانك يا إلهي وبحمدك تسمع فيها صوت عبد مسلم سجن فيها بمخالفتي، وذاك طعم عذابها بمعصيتي، وهمس بين أتباعك بجرمه وجريرته، وهو يضج إليك ضجيج معمل لرحمتك، ويناديك بلسان أهل توحيدك، ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك. يا مولاي فكيف يبكى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك ورعفتك؟ أم كيف يؤلم النار وهو يعمل فضلك ورحمتك؟ أم كيف يهلك لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوتا وترى مكانا؟ أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفه؟ أم كيف يتكلكل بين أتباعك وأنت تعلم الصدق؟ أم كيف تزجر زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا رب؟ أم كيف يرجو فضلك في إتك منها فتترك فيها؟ هيهات ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك، ولا مشبه لما عملت بالموحدين من برك وإحسانك، فباليقين أكتو لولا ما حكمت به من تعظيم جاهدك وقضيت به من إخلاد معاندك، لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما، وما كان لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما، لكنك تقدست أسماءك أقسمت أن تملأها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين، وأن تخلد فيها المعاندين، وأن تجل ثناؤك قلت مبتدئا وتتولت بالإنعام متكرما. أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون. إلهي والسيدي فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالقضية التي هتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من علي أجريت أن تحب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمت وكل ذنب أذنبت وكل كبير أسررت وكل جهل عملت كتمت وأعلنت أخفيت وظهرت وكل سيئة أمرت بإثبات الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جواره وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم والشاهد لما خفي عنهم وبرحمتك أخفيته وبفضلك سترت وأن توفر حظي من كل خير أنزلت أو إحسان فضلت أو بر نشرت أو رزق بسطت أو ذنب تغفر أو خطأ تستر يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك رقي يا من بيدي ناصية يا لمن بضري ومسكنتي يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب أسألك بحقك وقدسك وعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي من الليل والنهار بذكرك معمورة وبخدمتك موصولة وأعمالي عندك مقبولة حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي وإرادتي كلها وردا واحدا وحالي في خدمتك السرمدا يا سيدي يا من عليه معولي يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب قوي على خدمتك جواره واشدد على العزيمة جوانه وهب لي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك حتى أسرع إليك في ميادين السابقين وأسري إليك في البارزين واشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين وأخافك مخافة الموقنين وأتمي في جوارك مع المؤمنين اللهم ومن أرادني بالسوء فأعرض ومن كادني فكر واجعلني من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك وأقربهم منزلة منك وأخصهم زلفة لديك فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك وجد لي بجودك وعطف علي بمجدك واحفظني برحمتك واجعل لساني بذكرك لحجا وقلبي بحبك متيما ومن علي بحسن إجابتك وأقل لي أثرتي واغفر زلتي فإنك قضيت لعبادك بعبادتك وأمرتهم بدعائك وضمنت لهم الإجابة فإليك يا ربي نسبت وجهي وإليك يا ربي مددت يدي فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي وبلغني منايا ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعدائي يا سريع الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غنى ارحم من رأس مالي وسلاه البكاء يا سابق النعم يا دافع النقم يا نور المستويشين في الظلم يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وفل بما أنت أهل وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا اللهم صل رحم الله من قرأ سورة مباركة الفاتحة.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين عليا ولي الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين عليا حجة الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه. هيا على الصلاة. هيا على الصلاة. هيا على الفلاح. هيا على الفلاح. هيا على خير العمل. هيا على خير العمل. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم 2 فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إن هو لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين ألم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يصرون وما يعلنون أولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العلي العظيم.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. کریہ الجباں کی لاش اٹھانے چلے ہیں ہم सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम, करियल जवां की लाश उठाने चले हैं हम। सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम, ये इम्तिहान ज़ईफ़ी में मुझको निभाना है, अकीबर को लेके ख़ैमे ज़ैनब में जाना है। रस्ते में लड़खड़ाए ना शबीरी के कदम, सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम। गुरबत पे अपनी रोया है खुद में फातिमा, गिर गिर के तय किया है मकतल का फासला। बस हमसे दूर लाश है अकबरी की दो कदम, सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम। राशा है इस कदर के लरजते हैं मेरे हाथ, लाशा है ये रसूल का अकबर के साथ साथ, दो लाश एक साथ उठाएंगे कैसे हम। सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम। इस हाल में कहीं मुझे ज़हरा न देख ले, मेरी कमर झुकी हुई बाबा न देख ले। आते ही होंगे मेरी मदद को शहनम, सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम। सीने में कह के तोरी है जालिम ने यह सिना, अब देखना हुसैन की निकलेगी कैसे जान। जालिम को यह बताना है इब्ने अली है हम, सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम। अम्मा के साथ मिलके सीना मैंने खींच ली, हाथों में अब हमारे वो ताकत नहीं रही। अब्बास क्या गए मेरे बाजू हुए कलम, सीधी हो कमर तुझे अब्बास की कसम। करियल जवां की लाश उठाने चले हैं हम, سیدھی ہو اے کمر تجھے عباس کی قسم. محمد وعلی محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد.
اکبر تمہیں معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہے ہو؟ تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. اکبر تمہیں معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہے ہو؟ تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. اس عالم غربت میں تمہیں جان دوں کیسے؟ اس دشت مصیبت میں تمہیں جان دوں کیسے؟ اس وقت قیامت میں تمہیں جان دوں کیسے؟ اے لال جو تم اذن ویغا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. کیا گزرے گی اس باپ کے دل پر نہیں سوچا؟ تو نے یہ میری جاں علی اکبر نہیں سوچا؟ مر جاؤں گا میں تجھ سے بچھڑ کر نہیں سوچا؟ تم مجھ سے ضعیفی کا عصا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. دل روتا ہے نظروں سے اگر دور ہو بیٹا، کس طرح جدائی تیری منظور ہو بیٹا. تم ہی میری آنکھیں ہو میرا نور ہو بیٹا. مجھ سے میری آنکھوں کی ضیا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. ایک روز تجھے آن کے مانگا تھا پھوپھی نے، 18 برس نازوں سے پالا تھا پھوپھی نے. بیٹوں سے بھی زیادہ تمہیں چاہا تھا پھوپھی نے. احسان جو زینب نے کیا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو. سر تیرا بھی جس وقت چڑھے گا سر نیزہ، ہوگا سر میدان جدا سر بھی تمہارا. ہم شکل پیمبر کا گلا کاٹیں گے آدھا، گویا میرے نانا کا گلا مانگ رہے ہو، تم باپ سے مرنے کی رضا مانگ رہے ہو۔ بابا مجھے معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہا ہوں، ایک باپ سے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں۔ بابا مجھے معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہا ہوں، ایک باپ سے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں۔ بابا مجھے اماں نے بھی کچھ درس دیا ہے، آداب وفا سے مجھے آگاہ کیا ہے، پہلے میں مروں آپ سے وعدہ یہ لیا ہے، بس اس لیے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں، ایک باپ سے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں۔ بابا مجھے معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہا ہوں، ایک باپ سے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں۔ ہے آپ تو بابا بن خاتون قیامت، اور ماں ہے میری اپنا سیک پہ کر عصمت، کیا سینے میں اس پہ نہیں کچھ جلب ہے عصمت، میں مادر مزتر کا کہا مانگ رہا ہوں، ایک باپ سے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں۔ بابا مجھے معلوم ہے کیا مانگ رہا ہوں، ایک باپ سے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں، ایک باپ سے میں نے کی رضا مانگ رہا ہوں۔ صلوات علی محمد و آل محمد۔
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Respected scholar, my elders, brothers, sisters in Iman, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Fatiha is requested for all the names listed on the screen and Kul Marhamin Al-Fatiha. Ayyama Yajibun is requested for all the names listed on the screen and whoever is in need of it here and elsewhere. Let us all recite it together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. Amma yujibul mustarra idha da'ahu wa yakshifu su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على خاتم النبيين ورسول رب العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين لا سيما على الإمام المنتظر وحجة الله الثاني عشر ابن العسكري المنتظر ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم القرآن الحكيم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا وإن الله مع المحسنين. صلوات. Into the ninth night of the Ashra Ula of Muharram, and we are very quickly hastening towards the day of Ashura. And with a few more lectures just remaining, we need to move quickly to discuss quite a few things that we have planned to present before you. And so last night, if you recall, we were discussing the importance of Salatul Layl and how Salatul Layl, with the few examples that we gave, is a guarantor for success for us in this world and the hereafter. However, before I move forward with a few more asrar and secrets, as has been taught to us and explained to us and informed to us by the Holy Ma'asumin alayhimus salam, I just would like to add one addendum to the discussion on Salatul Layl. And that addendum is because there's a lot of misconception and a lot of people keep asking these questions, and it's important that I put it on record, because not only would it clarify the gray areas that are related, one particular gray area related to Salatul Layl, but also at the same time provide an opportunity of immense convenience for those who wish to embark on this particular act of worship, which is one constant in every single individual, whether a ma'soom or a non-ma'soom, in the quest to gain qurbat and closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is Salatul Layl. And the addendum that I would like to add is that, look, all of us know that Salatul Layl is of 11 rakats, and that can be truncated to 3 rakats, which includes you leave out the 8 rakats and you just offer the 3 rakat prayers. It can also be truncated into just 1 rakat. That means an individual does not have the time or the inclination or the hawsla or whatever it is. He's not able to recite all 11. Said, do not recite. If you cannot recite all 11, do not leave everything. Leave out the 8 rakat, pray the 3 rakats, the 2 rakats of namaz shafa and the last rakat of namaz witr, or Salatul Witr. If you cannot even offer the 3 rakats, it is said, offer 1 rakat, the Salatul Witr, with its 70 times istighfar and 300 times al-af and the names of the marhumin and the mu'mineen. And even if that 1 rakat complete cannot be offered, you cannot offer it, some reason you're unable to offer it, said, then just restrict that 1 rakat to Suratul Hamd, 3 times Qul Huwallahu Ahad, 1 times Qul A'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq, 1 times Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, and finish off the prayers. But this everybody knows. Where I want to take you is a matter of convenience, very short, 1 minute, 2 minutes, and we conclude. And the the issue that troubles most of the people is the timing for Salatul Layl and Namaz al-Shab. Look, there's always an understanding that it needs to be prayed after midnight. And the best time is the time of Sahar. That is that intervening, that period that is just before Salatul Subh or Adhan al-Subh. So you pray the Salatul Layl and then join it to Namaz al-Subh. And that is the point that becomes very difficult for people to wake up at the awwal waqt. Look, let's be honest. We are those people who probably get up at the final minutes of Namaz al-Subh before it becomes Qadha. For us to wake up at the awwal waqt for Salatul Layl and then offer Namaz al-Shab in the wee hours of morning is a task for us. But over here comes to the assistance of us Ayatollah al-Udma Sayyid Ali Sistani. And this could be a matter of great convenience, that when he was asked, Agha, when is the time for Salatul Layl? After midnight, it's difficult to stay awake after midnight to pray. Early part of the morning, just before Namaz al-Subh, it's difficult for us to wake up for offering the Salatul Layl. Could you tell us what is the awwal waqt that we can pray Namaz al-Shab so that we don't miss this immense jewel of motivation, an immense jewel that could lead us towards Allah? And according to the fatwa of Ayatollah Sistani, he says the time for Salatul Layl begins not from midnight, but from Awwal Shab, Awwalul Layl. That means the first part of Layl. The first part of Layl means as soon as the time for Maghrib and Isha Namaz takes place, becomes the time for Salatul Layl. So for a person who cannot stay awake after midnight, for some individual who cannot wake up before Namaz al-Subh or the Adhan al-Subh for offering a Salatul Layl, the best option is to pray the Salatul Layl immediately after Isha prayers. I mean, what more could it become more convenient than this? How much more convenience do we want? That a person prays his Maghrib prayers, Isha prayers, and then offers a Salatul Layl, 11 rakats, if not 11, 3 rakats, if not 3, 1 rakat, immediately after Salatul Maghribain. And then there is no problem. You don't need to stay awake after midnight or get up very early in the morning before the Namaz al-Subh. Ideally, that would be the best. That would be Nur ala Nur. But rather than miss out Salatul Layl completely, Agha Sistani says you can offer them Salatul Layl immediately after Maghriban prayers. My kids, my wife offer these immediately after Maghriban prayers before they go to sleep. Anytime from the time of Maghriban till the time you go to sleep, you can offer it according to the fatwa of Ayatollah Sistani. So make sure with this convenience that has been afforded to us, let's make it an opportunity. Take this opportunity and not lose this concept and this immense, amazing, priceless jewel that has been placed at our disposal for the success of ours in this world and the hereafter. But when we talk about Salatul Layl, it's about, the ideal situation is to get up in the night for praying Salatul Layl. That means you leave the comforts of the bed, the softness of the pillow, you fight the sleep, you fight the various elements that are inconveniencing the body and consequently the soul. You fight it to rise up, stand in the darkness of the night facing the Qibla to say Allahu Akbar. That is the ideal scenario. But that is getting up in the night after having gone to sleep. But one of the secrets, divine asrar that has reached us from the Masumin is something to do before a person goes to sleep. And a 4-point program prescribed by the Holy Prophet, narrated to his daughter Hadrat Fatima al-Zahra salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayha, with the intention that she doesn't need the prescription. Bibi does not need the prescription, but bypassing on this tradition to Bibi, the intention was that it would get recorded and reach people like you and me, so that people like you and me can take heed and look and work on the prescription. Bibi is Bibi of the Alam, the lady is the lady of both the worlds. And this becomes important because, look, and the logic goes this way. The 4-point program is based on a certain logic, a certain concept. And that concept is that when a person goes to sleep, man has a meeting with God. The soul of man has a meeting with God. And this meeting with God is of two kinds, of two nature. One is a permanent meeting with God, I use the word permanent because, as you will see in the explanation, a permanent meeting with God. This is the meeting, the soul meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on a permanent basis. When I say permanent, means this soul has permanently departed from the body, has left the body, which you and me refer to as death. At the time of death, the soul leaves the body, goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the meeting. And Riwayat says, and we've discussed this, if I'm not mistaken, a few years ago when I was discussing about death, we've mentioned how the soul, when it comes out of the body, is taken to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is of a permanent nature. But on a temporary nature, on a daily basis, our soul goes to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every single individual. And that is on a temporary basis. Means at the time of sleep. It has been proved by tradition that the soul leaves the body at the time of sleep and goes to meet God. It is because of this logic that this 4-point program narrated and prescribed by the Holy Prophet reaches us through the auspices of Hazrat Zahra salamullahi alayha. The logic is this, that the Holy Prophet is saying, look, every night when you go to sleep, your soul leaves the body to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it is in your interest that you at the time of sleeping decorate, embellish, ornate your soul to such a level that when it goes in the presence of God, when you're sleeping, God is mushtaq of meeting that soul. God is mushtaq and inclined to communicate with your soul. Do not at the time of sleeping leave your soul in a manner that when it goes to God, God says, I don't like the soul. It's kept itself unpurified, so I don't want to meet it. I'm loathsome to meet the soul. And hence the 4-point program. And how does this work? The tradition is narrated by Hazrat Zahra salamullahi alayha. When she said, قَدْ اِفْتِرَشْتُ فِرَاشِ لِلنَّوْمِ. One day I was preparing my bed and about to go to sleep. I see the Holy Prophet come inside, addressing me, Ya Fatima, لَا تَنَامِ حَتَّى عَمِلْتِ بِعَرْبَةٍ حَتَّى عَمِلْتِ بِعَرْبَةٍ. Do not go to sleep till you perform 4 tasks. Once you perform these 4 tasks, then you go to sleep. Says, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Abata, what is it? Oh my father, oh Rasulullah, what is it? He says, do not sleep until you've recited the entire Quran. Now listen to this, because from this I'm going to take you to certain secrets in the asrar of God. People take things lightly. We tend to take things lightly. It's only when we realize the asrar and the secrets and the divine mysteries hidden behind certain recommendations that have come from the Ma'asumeen, we will be more motivated and inspired to act on those recommendations and prescriptions of the Holy Ma'asumeen alayhimus salam. He says, do not go to sleep till you have recited the entire Quran. Do not go to sleep till you have made all the prophets happy and have brought them into your fold to be your intercessor on the day of judgment, your shafi, shofa'a. Third, do not go to sleep before and unless and until you have made all the mu'mineen happy with you. And do not go to sleep till you have performed the Hajj and Umrah. Bibi says, as soon as he says this, without any explanation, he goes on the prayer mat, musalla, and starts his salah. Some prayer he started to pray. Bibi says, Hazrat Fatima says, I waited till he completed. Then I said, Ya Rasulullah, you have told me to do these 4 things. La aqdiru alayha. I'm unable to do all of these before going to sleep at night. At that time, the riwayat says, Bibi says, fatabassam. The Prophet smiled. Says, I will tell you the secrets of how all of these can be done. Says, what is the secret? Says, the secret is this, that how can you do all of these 4 things before going to sleep? Simple. And this is where the secrets lie on. He says, every night before, and this is the first thing, you know it, everybody knows it. He says, before going to sleep, how would you complete the recitation of the entire Quran? He says, recite 3 times Surah Tawheed, Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad. Every time a person recites 1 Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad, it's as if he's recited 1/3 of the Quran. 3 times somebody recites Surah Tawheed, he's recited the entire Quran. I know everybody knows this. Look, whereas we're going forward, listen to me. It says the second thing that I said is to remember, is to make all the prophets happy, all the Anbiya, 124,000 Anbiya happy with you, so that they become your shafi, shofa'a, intercessor on the day of judgment. It says you do this by sending salawat upon me and upon them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ala jami' al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen. The moment you send salawat and salutations upon them, all the prophets become happy with you and they will become your shufa'a on the day of judgment. But Sheikh, this is too much. I mean, Arabic we don't know. How do we remember Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad wa ala jami' al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen? Fair enough. If you cannot remember the last part, the first part you can remember. Salawat, who doesn't know? Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. You can't remember the remaining part, wa ala jami' al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen, doesn't matter. As soon as you stop at Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad in your own language, whatever it is, English, Gujarati, Kutchi, Kiswahili, Fulan, just say, and upon all the prophets and the messengers that you had sent. Khalas. Who's ever said that every dua that you do has to be in Arabic? Nobody said it. If you cannot do it, you don't leave it. Find an alternative, find a substitute. If you cannot remember these words in Arabic, you can always recite it in your own language. And that dua in your own language will be converted to dua, goes to God, and God will inform the angel, this particular individual has sent his salah, his salutations and my salam, salamullahi alayhim, when you say upon you, and they come to know this individual Sheikh at the time of going to sleep has sent his salams, the salutations of God upon me, has prayed for me. We will keep him in mind on the day of judgment. That's point number 2. Point number 3, making all the mu'mineen happy with you. Bibi says, how do I do that? He says, pray for them before going to sleep. Now we've got a lot of du'as that refer to this. Allahumma ghafir lil mu'mineen wal mu'minat wal muslimeen wal muslimat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat tabi' Allahumma baynana wa baynahum bil khairat innaka mujibu da'awat innaka ala kulli shay'in qadir. But again, a very long dua in Arabic. Some know, some don't know. Some parts I know, some parts I don't know. Doesn't matter. Even the similar thing like the previous one in your own language. Oh Allah, forgive all the mu'mineen and mu'minat of the world. Muslimin and Muslimat of the world, whether they are alive, whether they're dead. This at least you can say in your own language. This at least you can recount before going to sleep. Prophet says, do this, the mu'mineen and the mu'minat will become happy with you. When you die, if they are in this world, if they've gone into this world, their du'as will reach you. If they have gone before you, they will pray for you from the barzakh, and those du'as have effect upon you. Keep them happy every night. Make them happy every night. Come the last part. Do not go to sleep, Fatima, till you perform the Hajj and Umrah. Ya abata la aqdiru alayha. I'm unable to do Hajj and Umrah every night. Prophet says it's something very difficult. All that you need to do to get the rewards of having performed a Hajj and Umrah before going to sleep is recite tasbihati arba once. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. I mean, how long will this entire prescription take? You tell me, this 4-point prescription. 3 times Surah Tawheed, 1 salawat, 1 dua for the mu'mineen, and 1 tasbihat arba. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes. But look at the immense rewards. What is stopping us from doing these before going to sleep? Lack of resolution and resolve. That's the only thing. Lack of application. And then we complain the akhirat is problematic. Ayatollah Bahjat, you know what he says? He says, what are these people getting involved in the ladhat and the pleasures of this world? The greatest pleasure, you know, is what? It's the pleasure of death. Because you're so ready to meet your Lord that you know this is the only thing that will take you from this world, a defrauding world, a beguiling world, to my mahbub, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says the best of the pleasures is the pleasure of death, because it's going to take you to your mahbub, to your beloved creator. We're so worried because we're not ready for it. We're not ready for it because we hear things we don't want to implement and execute and act upon them. But over here, I just want to take you, look, because we are over here, the entire focus is to know the mysteries that are available in the world that we are unaware of. And we come to know through the ma'asumeen, who come to know through God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I want to take you to specifically the last part. When the Prophet says 1 Hajj, 1 Umrah, the rewards of it, The equivalence of it can be attained by reciting one tasbihat arba before going to sleep at night. Now there are secrets behind this, why this has been said. So listen to this. One day a person comes to the sixth Imam. Person comes to the sixth Imam and asks him, Yabna Rasulullah, why is the Kaaba called the Kaaba? Why is the Kaaba the Qibla of Muslimin? Why is Kaaba named Al-Kaaba? The sixth Imam looked at him and says, Ya Fulan, it's called Yusamma Al-Kaaba, Tusamma Al-Kaaba. It's called the Kaaba because it is Muka'ab. Now Muka'ab in Arabic means cuboid. It's got 4 walls and it's got a roof and it's got a base. Basically it's a cuboid, and because it has 4 walls with a supporting roof and a base, and hence it is called a Kaaba. This individual says, Yabna Rasulullah zidni, add me more to my knowledge. Why does the Kaaba have 4 walls only? And you know, Kaaba was built by the design of God, by the instructions of God, under the supervision of Hazrat Jabra'il alayhi salam, by Hazrat Ibrahim and Ismail. The blueprint was sent by God. The design was sent by God. The builders were Ibrahim and Ismail, but they were not the architects. The designer, the architect was God. The supervisor was Jibreel alayhi salam. Why only 4 walls? Why not 6? It could have been a hexagon. It could have been a pentagon. It could have 10 sides. Why only 4 walls? Now you have to realize the Ma'asumin would speak to people based on their level of understanding. Inna ma'ashir al-anbiya nukallim an-nas ala qadri uqulihim. We've been ordered by God to speak to people based on their level of understanding and comprehension and ability to understand. So based on their ability, we will tell them. This person moves forward and says, Yabna Rasulullah, I do understand it's a cuboid, it's got 4 walls with a ceiling and a base, which every structure would have. But why does it have only 4 walls? It says it has 4 walls because this Kaaba, now then the Imam realizes that he's thirsty for knowing more, and yet also he has the ability to digest what he's saying. Imam says the reason that Kaaba has 4 walls is because the Kaaba on the earth is a replica of a similar structure on the 4th sky, is referred to as Baytul Ma'mur. And because it's a replica of that structure, and because Baytul Ma'mur has 4 walls, this Kaaba now has been given 4 walls, and hence the name Kaaba. Now you see, what happens is, depending upon a person's ishtiyaq, the Ma'asumin keep giving them information. If the ishtiyaq stops, if the inclination stops, if the curiosity stops, if the passion to know more stops, the Ma'asumin stop giving information. Let me just digress and give you something to this effect. You see, one of the alqab, one of the kunya of the Holy Prophet is Abul Qasim. You hear it every time whenever a majlis is being recited. You keep hearing the name Abul Qasim in the khutbah. Abul Qasim is one of the kunya. A person comes to the 8th Imam, Ali ibn Musa Rida alayhi salatu wassalam. He says, Yabna Rasulullah, why is the Holy Prophet called Abul Qasim? Imam looks at him and says, he's called Abul Qasim. Abul Qasim, the father of Qasim. Abul Hasan, Amir al-Mu'minin, is referred to as the father of Hasan. Abu Zainab, the father of Zainab. Says Abul Qasim because the Holy Prophet had a son by the name of Qasim, and hence he's referred to as Abul Qasim, the father of Qasim. For a moment, the Ravi, the questioner, listens. Then he turns to Imam Rida and says, Yabna Rasulullah, I'm aware of this. I know the Holy Prophet had a son by the name of Qasim, and hence is referred to as Abul Qasim, the father of Qasim. But if you feel that I can digest more from the secrets and the mysteries that God has graced you with, zidni, increase me in knowledge. Imam Rada says, all right, he is called Abul Qasim because of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Now the questioner, the Ravi, is nonplussed. Says, Abul Qasim, the father of Qasim. And that is related to Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Kaif? How? How can the name of Abul Qasim be related to Ali? If it had to be Ali and Ali was his son, it will be Abu Ali. But Ali is not his son, so it cannot be Abu Ali. Where does Abul Qasim come? How does Ali become? How is Ali related to Abul Qasim, the kunya of the Holy Prophet? He says, listen, Amirul Mu'mineen, our grandfather, according to the tradition of our grandfather, the Holy Prophet, is referred to as the distributor of hell and heaven on the Day of Judgment. Ya Ali, the Prophet has turns to Ali and says it during his time, Ya Ali, anta qasimul jannati wal nar. On the Day of Judgment, God will give you the authority and the permission to distribute heaven and hell to whomsoever you please. You can identify individual and says you will go to heaven and God will send him to heaven. And you will identify individual and say you need to go to hell and God will send that person to hell. You are the distributor. Anta qasimul jannati wan nar. You are the distributor of heaven and hell to the people on the day of Mahshar. A person who distributes is referred to as Qasim, a distributor. The term in the riwayat is Qasimul Jannah. That's a derivative of the root from which you get the word Qasim. Qasim means somebody who distributes. The distributor of heaven and hell on the Day of Judgment. So Ali is the Qasim. He says, understand, but even if he is Al-Qasim, the Ravi is now saying, he's trying to understand how does the link between Abul Qasim, the kunya of the Holy Prophet, and Amirul Mu'mineen. Says, okay, I've understood he's Qasim, he's Al-Qasim. But for the Holy Prophet to be called Abul Qasim because of Ali would mean that Ali would need to be his son. But Ali is not his son. He's not his biological son. So how can the Holy Prophet be called Abul Qasim? He says the reason is that Ali, from the time that he was a child, was put into the custody and the care of the Holy Prophet. And this, you know, Ali himself has said this in Nahjul Balagha. I would follow the Holy Prophet just as the child of a she-camel would keep following the she-camel, the mother, footstep in footstep. This is how I would follow. And everything I know has been taught to me and brought to me by the Holy Prophet. He's taught me, he's brought me up, and he's fostered me, and he's developed me, and he's brought about my entire upbringing. Because of the fact that he was now placed under the care of the Holy Prophet, and the Holy Prophet taught him everything that Ali knew, the Holy Prophet becomes his spiritual teacher. And a teacher in Islam is regarded as a spiritual father. Because now the Holy Prophet is the spiritual father of Ali, and Ali is Al-Qasim because of him being distributing heaven and hell, the title of the Holy Prophet becomes Abul Qasim, the father of Qasim. Hearing this, the Ravi is now satisfied. He says, thank you, Ibn Rasulullah, Imam Rada, I've understood, I go away. Over here the ulama say one more thing. They're saying, had that Ravi persisted and asked, give me more inclination and zidni, add more to my knowledge why he's referred to as Abul Qasim, the 8th Imam would have gone even further and further to reveal the secrets and the mysteries that have gone behind naming the Holy Prophet Abul Qasim. But because he stopped at the second question, got his answer, satisfied, the Imam kept quiet, asked him to let him go away, and kept the secrets further from being revealed. Over here the 6th Imam is talking to this Ravi, or the Ravi is asking the 6th Imam. You say Kaaba is 4 walls because it's a replica of the Baytul Ma'mur, which is 4 walls, and hence the Kaaba has 4 walls. Yabna Rasulullah, question, why has Allah made Baytul Ma'mur with 4 walls? He's going deeper. Because he's got the ability to understand and comprehend and digest, and he's got the passion to learn more. And when both these combine together, the Imam then obliges, a Masoom then obliges. He says, you know why? The reason that Baytul Ma'mur, God has made it 4 walls, is because the Arsh of God has got 4 pillars. The Arsh of God has got 4 pillars. Because of the Arsh of God having 4 pillars on which the throne and the Arsh of God is based on, is founded on, is supported on, because of that, Baytul Ma'mur has been given 4 walls. And because Baytul Ma'mur has been given 4 walls, the Kaaba has been given 4 walls, and hence the name Kaaba. The Rawi insists and digs further. Yabna Rasulullah Zidni, add me more to my knowledge. Why is the Arsh of God only based on 4 pillars and 4 props? Why is the Arsh of God only having 4 pillars, not 6 and not 10? What was stopping God from making the Arsh based on 10 pillars and not just 4? At that time, the 6th Imam says, the reason is this, that Arsh is a symbolic representation of the might and the qudrat and the power of God. Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. The Arsh signifies the power of an individual in this world. There to symbolize and to give a symbolic manifestation, God has an Arsh, a throne, a seating place, which is based on 4 pillars. And it is based on 4 pillars because the entire might of God, the entire qudrat of God is based on 4 things: tasbih, tamjeed, tahleel and takbir. Tasbih means subhanallah, tamjeed means, tahmeed means alhamdulillah, tahleel means la ilaha illallah, takbir means Allahu Akbar. And from these 4 things which form the prop of the might and the glory and the izzat and the qudrat and the power and the sultanate of God comes out subhanallahi walhamdulillahi wa la ilaha illallah wallahu Akbar, which you and I refer to as tasbihat arba. Now you understand that when the Holy Prophet told Hazrat Fatima before going to sleep, make sure you perform the Hajj and the Umrah. And how is it performed? By reciting tasbihat arba. We know these 4 recitations, these 4 dhikr form the fulcrum and the base and the foundation of the might of God, from the basis of which you get Baytul Ma'mur, 4 walls, from the basis of which you get the 4 walls of the Kaaba. Once the Kaaba is made up of 4 walls and a person recites tasbihat arba, it is as if he's gone around the Kaaba. Having gone around the Kaaba, having done the tawaf, means he's performed the Umrah and the Hajj. Equivalent rewards of reciting tasbihat arba, equivalent to going for Hajj and Umrah. Fatima, do not sleep at night until you perform the Hajj and the Umrah. You see how things move? You see how things get out of context in normal sense? That till you don't dig deeper, we cannot pull out from the waters of the knowledge of the profound and the expansive knowledge that God has graced the Ahlul-bayt with, to reveal the mysteries and the secrets and the asrar that are prevalent in the universe, that you and me are completely left bereft of, unless we hold to the family of the holy Ahlul-bayt. These are secrets. Now we realize how important it is, these tasbihat arba. Now we realize how important it is that this tasbihat arba has the power that somebody recites 1 tasbihat arba in this world is equivalent. God will plant a tree in paradise, because we are invoking God with the 4 pillars that form the basis of the qudrat and the power of that Almighty Lord in the universe. Ajab these things are. Ajab secrets these are. But today again, like yesterday, I will have to just curtail this particular discussion. Yesterday we had to curtail this discussion a little bit because of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. Today I want to just make a little digression, because we got something that I need to present to you tonight. Tonight, Shab-e Jum'ah, Laylatul Jum'ah. And Laylatul Jum'ah, we need to understand the importances and significances of these periods in our life. Shab-e Jum'ah, Laylatul Jum'ah means Hussein ibn Ali. Laylatul Jum'ah means ziyarat of Hussein ibn Ali. Laylatul Jum'ah means to cry out Labbaik ya Hussein. This incident is narrated by a Shia living in Kufa. And in olden days, named Sulaiman-e-Amash. This has been narrated in Bihar al-Anwar tradition. Sulaiman-e-Amash is narrating that I used to live in Kufa, a Kufi. The next door neighbor to me was an individual who was not following and adherent to the Shiite faith, and he was never part of our group. But because he was neighbor, and I recommendation to maintain good relationships with neighbor, irrespective of whether they are adherent to your faith and your beliefs or not. Since I would have relationship with him, we would talk at times. He would come to my house at times. I would go to his house. During this particular time that I'm talking about was a Shab Jumu'ah, Thursday night, Laylatul Jumu'ah, night of tonight. Since I was at his place and we were discussing and talking, and while the talking was going on, I asked him a question. He says, Fulan, what is your opinion about the ziyarat of Hussein ibn Ali in Karbala? They are in Kufa, remember? As soon as I said this, he said something that made my blood boil. He says, Ziyaratul Hussein bid'atun wa kullu bid'atin dhalalah. And every bid'at is a deviation. So Ziyaratul Hussein is an innovation. Nothing of the sort is in Islam. That man is saying, Ziyarat of Hussein is an innovation, and every innovation is a deviation, and every deviation finnar, in the fire of hell. So as soon as I heard it, my blood began to boil. He's sitting over here in front of me. We are in Kufa, a stone's throw away, metaphorically speaking, from Karbala. And this person is telling me Ziyarat of Hussein is a bid'at, every bid'at, the dhalala, is a deviation, and every deviation lies in the fire of hell. So without saying anything, blood boiling, I got up, walked out and came out. Very disturbed. I went home, calmed myself down, and I made my niyat. Whatever happens tomorrow, I'm going to go to this fellow and feed him so many fadail of Amirul Mu'mineen and Imam Hussein alayhi salam that he would be forced to put his head onto the ground as a sign of seeking forgiveness from God for what he said to me just a few moments ago, some time ago. It says, disturbed, perturbed, I went to sleep. It was so disturbing and perturbing to me that I couldn't sleep well. I got up at the time of Sahar. I says, I have to go now. At the time of Sahar, I went, knocked at the door. Knocked at the door. The voice from inside was not of that individual. Women folk, somebody from the family. Says, where is Fulan? I says, Fulan is not in the house. I said, it's time of Sahar. Where does somebody go at this time of the hour, or this time of the day or night? Says, no, he's not at home. So where has he? Where can I find him? I need some urgent things to talk with him and discuss with him. He says, he's not in Kufa. So where is he? I saying, he has gone to Karbala for the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Ziyarat of Hussein alayhi salam. Sulaiman says, I was stunned. This Fulan, just a few hours ago, was sitting and categorically telling me that ziyarat of Hussein is a bid'at. Every bid'at is a dhalala, is a deviation, and every deviation would land up in the fire of hell. And now this individual, in the darkness of the night, without waiting for morning to dawn, has left Kufa, gone to Karbala for the ziyarat of the same Hussein ibn Ali. Stunned. What has happened in these few hours that has changed this individual so dramatically? He says, I took off. He says, I'm going to Karbala. He took off. He says, I took off, went to Karbala, into the Haram. What am I seeing? This individual who was contesting me about the validity of the ziyarat of Hussein is now in the Haram of Hussein ibn Hussein alayhi salam, head bowing down in sajda to Allah before the body of Hussein ibn Ali. What is this? I waited for him to raise his head from the sajda. I stand beside him and says, Fulan, you into the Haram of Hussein? Just a few hours ago, you were the one telling me that this is an innovation. He says, I messed up. And I had messed up big time because I had not realized the fadail of the Ahlul-bayt. Ajab. Now this Sulaiman is saying, hello mate, what went or what transpired in those few hours from the time I left in a huff and infuriated from your house till the time you left Kufa to come to Karbala, that you have changed so dramatically and diametrically 180 degrees opposite to the view that you were holding prior to the coming over here. He says, listen, I'll tell you what happened. After you left in a huff and in an infuriated state, I thought to myself, let this guy go. He's in his own world. He doesn't know what he's talking about. A Shia always does that. And that's the belief of the others. But they don't realize where we are heading to and where we've got our knowledge, our understanding, our ma'rifat from the family of the holy Ahlul-bayt. It says, you left, I got ready to sleep, I went off to sleep. As I went off to sleep, I dreamt of an amazing thing. And that dream changed me forever. It says, what did you see? It says, in my dreams, all of a sudden, I'm finding myself in a desert. But an ajib scenario is now being witnessed by me. Because I'm seeing a whole group of people, a jama'ah, moving in a particular direction. But the amazing thing is that they are following an individual, now these are the words of the tradition, who was neither tall nor short, of average height. A man covered in a halo of light, waqar, dignity, ubuhat, awe-inspiring personality. And the entire congregation are being led by this individual. Next to this individual stands a youth who's accompanying this individual. Again, Nurani, illuminated shakhsi. Since in the darkness of the night, I could see that while the area behind the group was entirely dark, but the area in front of the group was illuminated, completely bright. You could see every single pebble onto the ground. I'm surprised. This is the darkness of the night. And when I see, what do I see? That leading the way, guiding the way for these two illuminated, luminous and eminent individuals was an individual on a horse. And this individual had a crown on his head which had 4 little points, 4 protrusions, and on each protrusion was a jewel of such caliber and brilliance that the light emanating from the jewels was enough to illuminate the entire region in front of this entire congregation that was walking in a particular direction, so that every single grain and pebble could be seen. I am now dumbstruck. What is this place? Who are these people? Who are those people that are leading from the front? Where are they heading? I'm just trying to absorb all of this. All of a sudden, my attention gets diverted to something that caught my eye in the skies. Looking up in the skies, my hayrat, my amazement, my astonishment, now it's multiplied manifold. Because as I look up, what do I see? I see a camel made up of light, illuminated. And on it was a palkin, howdaj, a seating place, in which there were individuals. I could make out the silhouette of 2 individuals surrounded by curtains. But I could see the silhouette of these 2 individuals. I could make out there are 2 people sitting inside. Now things were beyond my comprehension, and it was beyond my sabr. So I go forward to talk to one of the individuals and says, hello, my friend. Says, yes. He says, who are these individuals? Who's that individual with that waqar, that ubuhat that you're all following? He says, you didn't recognize him? He says, no. He says, he's the Prophet of Islam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Oh, he's the Prophet of Islam. I've never seen him. Yes, he's the Prophet of Islam. Who's that young man next to him? Illuminated and brilliant, Nurani. He says, you don't know him? He says, no. He says, he's his grandson, Hassan al-Mujtaba. Oh, is he Hassan, whom we call Sayyidina Hassan? He says, yes, that is Hassan. He says, who's that man in front wearing that crown from which is emanating brilliant light that's illuminating the entire region in front of you? He says, that is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. You don't know him? He says, no, I don't know him. He says, that's Ali. is he Ali ibn Abi Talib, the fourth of the Khulafa Rashidin? He says, yes, alayhi salam. All right. He says, then what is that? The camel of Noor, and I can see two individuals sitting. He's saying, on that camel are seated two individuals, two ladies. Khadija bint Khuwailid, the wife of the Prophet Muhammad, and Fatima Zahra, the daughter of the Holy Prophet Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhima. He says, I'm dumbstruck. He says, the Holy Prophet, his grandson Hassan, Ali, Fatima, al-Mu'mineen Khadija, and all of you, where are you heading towards? This turns and says, which part of the world do you live in, mate? Friend, which part of the world are you living in? He says, why? Is there something I should be knowing? He says, my friend, don't you know this is Laylatul Jumu'ah? He says, yes, so what? Where are you heading to? He says, all of us are heading to Karbala to visit the Dhari and Imam Hussein alayhi salam in his haram. Ajab. He says, I was dumbstruck. What is this that I'm seeing? He says, as I was trying to absorb and gauge what was happening and what was said to me, the entire congregation, the time is Laylatul Jumu'ah, they're all heading towards the haram to Karbala to meet Imam Hussein alayhi salam in his haram. All of a sudden, from that camel of Noor, I saw pieces of paper dropping down. And as they would drop down, this congregation that would be there, they would be picking up one of them, getting one of them from that was falling. So as they were falling, I would try to pick, I would not get it. I tried to pick, I would not get it. Nothing came my way. So one of the people who managed to get it, who had got it in his hand, I turned to him and says, can I have a look at what is written over here? What is this? He showed it to me. I remember we are in Iraq, yeah? Says it was written over there. Amanum min an-nar li Zuwar al-Husayn alayhi salam fi laylatil Jum'ah. This piece of paper, this chit is the aman, is the freedom, is the protection from the fire of hell for the Zuwar of Hussein alayhi salam on the night of Jumu'ah, on Shabi Jumu'ah, Laylatul Jumu'ah. He says, can I have one? Can I have one? I would like to have this aman. I would like to have this protection from the fire of hell. I would like to have. And all of a sudden I heard a voice saying, Fulan, you do not deserve this because you consider the ziyarat of Hussein ibn Ali to be an innovation. In your own words, every innovation is a deviation, and every deviation lies in the fire of hell. You who do not consider the rank of Hussein ibn Ali, you who do not consider the authenticity of the ziyarat of Hussein ibn Ali, you will be left deprived of this immense bounty of God, of being liberated and being guaranteed protection from the fire of hell because of the ziyarat of Hussein ibn Ali. Says, as soon as I heard this, my eyes opened up, perspiring, sweat pouring down my face. I got up to reflect, what did I see? And I realized we were in Laylatul Jumu'ah, and it was so intense and it was so profound, the experience of the dream. I was 100% sure that this was not an ordinary dream. I realized my mistake. I told my family, I'm going to Karbala to do the ziyarat of Hussein, and this is where you find me today, now, right now. I have changed. He is my master, Hussein ibn Ali, who is going to protect me from the fire of hell. The Shabi Jumu'ah that we are doesn't have to be in the month of Muharram, doesn't have to be in the Ashra Ula of Muharram. Shabi Jumu'ah, that piece of paper did not mention or specify that it has to be the month of Muharram. It has to be the month of Ramadan. He says, Amanum minan nar, it's protection from the fire of hell. Li Zuwar al-Husayn alayhi salam, for the Za'irin of Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam, fi laylatil Jumu'ah, on the night of Jumu'ah. And hence we find our ulama, even Mafatihul Jinan and the other books of dua, they say, if you cannot reach Karbala, then just go to your terrace, come out of your house, turns towards Karbala and says, Salaamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah al-Husayn. Don't miss out these words on the night of Jumu'ah, on the Laylatul Jumu'ah, night that we are in tonight. But in order to attain that rank, it's easy to say, oh, what a rank Hussein has got. It's so easy to say, MashaAllah, look at that rank of Hussein. The entire entourage, including the grandfather, including the father, including the grandmother, including the mother, including the brother, with that entire entourage going to meet that one single individual who has changed the course of history and saved the religion of Islam, Hussein ibn Ali. MashaAllah, what a rank. But we need to also reflect what Hussein had to give and sacrifice to get that rank. What more hurtful than giving your 18-year-old son for the pleasure of God? And you know, the ulama say, when the ulama is asked, the Urafa asked, what part of the incident of Karbala was the most hurtful, most shattering to Hussein ibn Ali? They turn back and says, the shahadat of Ali Akbar alayhi salam. This 18-year mold of an epitome of absolute marifat is now being sacrificed for the pleasure of God. It's not an easy task. Because the marifat, you know, of Ali Akbar, when they are on the way to go to Karbala, at that time, Imam Hussein suddenly recites Istirja. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. All of us have heard it. And then when Ali Akbar asks, why did you say this? Imam says, I heard somebody telling me that this caravan is moving forward and death is following them. And at that time, when he asks the father, are we not alasna al-haq? Are we not on the truth? And when the father replied in the affirmative, the marifat of Ali Akbar comes to the fore. La nubali bil maut. We don't care about death if you're on the truth. This is what is a lesson to us. When we are on truth, then we shouldn't care about the consequences, because God is our guide and guardian. But the thing goes, Ali Akbar goes, the time enters, 2nd of Muharram comes, Hussein's qafla and caravan enters into the plains of Karbala, goes on, 2nd night, 3rd night, 4th night, Shab Ashur, comes the dawn of Ashura. At the dawn of Ashura, Hussein looks around. Aina Aliyun al-Akbar. Aina Aliyun al-Akbar. Hussein has his own mu'adhin, but today he wants Ali Akbar to recite the adhan. And tonight we have to recite, tonight we are here to commemorate not just Ali Akbar, but we are over here to give our condolences to every single member of the famous family of 5, the Ahl-Kisa. We have to give condolences of the shahadat of Ali Akbar to the Holy Prophet, because he was shabi of the Holy Prophet, similar to the Holy Prophet. So much so that people would say, the Holy Prophet, and Imam Hussein would say, when we would be desiring to see the Holy Prophet's face after he had gone, we would call Ali Akbar to see his face. Today we are here to give our commemoration, our condolences to the Holy Prophet, because the person today who has passed away is the one who is most resembling the Holy Prophet in looks. We are over here to give commemoration and condolences to Imam Ali alayhi salam, because the person who's dying today, whom we have gathered over here to commemorate, Ali Akbar, has the name of Ali al-Murtada. We are over here to give condolences to Fatima to Zahra, because Ali Akbar had the age of Fatima to Zahra, 18 years. We are over here to give condolences to Imam Hassan and Mujtaba, because Ali Akbar had the seerat and the akhlaq of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. And we are over here gathered together to give condolences to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, because Ali Akbar was everything for Hussein ibn Ali. Everything for Hussein ibn Ali. The morning comes, Hussein says, Aina Aliyun al-Akbar, where is my Ali? Ali comes, Imam says, Taqaddam, recites the adhan. He's got his muadhin, but he wants the lahja, the accent, the words, the sound, the voice of the Holy Prophet to reverberate in the plains of Karbala. Ali Akbar goes to the place where adhan is to be recited, Allahu Akbar. As he recites Allahu Akbar, the lahja, the accent, the voice and the sound of the Holy Prophet reverberates in the plains of Karbala. And I wouldn't be surprised, Zainab, listening to the sound, the voice of the Holy Prophet, would have turned to Medina and called out, oh my grandfather, Holy Prophet, look where we have landed up tonight. Ali Akbar recites the Adhan and the battle begins. The first wave and a massive number of the companions gone, till the time comes when all the companions have passed away. And now is the time and the opportunity for the shahadat for the family of Bani Hashim. We will go by the riwayat that Ali Akbar was the first member of the Bani Hashim to be killed. Ali Akbar now wants to go to the battlefield. Ali Akbar wants now to be going into the battlefield. Hussein himself wants Ali to go into the battlefield. Ali Akbar first. He says, I want to be the first person from my family to bear the pain and the anguish of losing a brother, or losing a son, or losing a relative, or losing a member of the family. Hussein wants to taste this pain and anguish first. Taqaddam ya bunayya. Go, my son, go. As he is going, Hussein does two things. One, he raises his hands and turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma shhad. Oh Allah, bear witness. Qad barada ilayhim. A person is now going towards the battlefield against the enemies. Ashbaha, he is the more similar to the Holy Prophet in looks and talks and voice and accent and akhlaq. Ali Akbar, that is the first thing that Ali Akbar, that Hussein does. Ali Akbar is on the horse. Is he going towards the battlefield? He first hears the dua of the holy of Imam Hussein alayhi salam turning to God and telling him this representative, a similar person, of identical similarity in face of the Holy Prophet is going to the battlefield. And then all of a sudden, as Ali Akbar is going to the battlefield, he hears the sound of footsteps behind him. Slows down his horse, looks behind. What does he see? He sees his 57-year-old father, Imam Hussein, holding his back with his hands and following the horse and the mount of Ali Akbar behind him. He stops the horse, turns down, comes down, folds his hands, says, Baba, what are you doing? Why are you coming behind me? He says, Hussein says, Ali Akbar, I cannot help it. I have to be after you. I have to come after you. Ali Akbar folds his hands and says, Baba, don't come after me, because then I will not be able to go to the battlefield. Hussein, tears streaming down his eyes, says, Ali Akbar, you will not understand this because you are not a father. It's only when you would have been a father and a 18-year-old son of yours was going to die, you would have understood what is going through my mind. But now that you've said that you would be unable to go, Ali Akbar, go. Hussein will not follow you. Ali Akbar goes into the battlefield. Hussein wants to see the apple of his eyes, how he's fighting and how he's faring. Hussein climbs onto a little hillock, climbs onto a little mount. On the mount, he stands up to see how Ali Akbar is fighting. Every time a sword is being hit, Marhaba ya Ali. Marhaba ya Ali. Every time a person is killed and sent to the fires of hell, here Ali Hussein is encouraging Ali Akbar, till Hussein ibn Namir comes and launches his spear that goes into the body, into the chest of Ali Akbar. As Ali Akbar is hit, now Ali Akbar cannot stay on the horse, he falls down. Adrikni ya abata. Oh my father, help me. Riwayat says, as soon as Hussein saw Ali Akbar falling, Hussein falls down from the mound. And Riwayat say for a short period of time, the sight of Hussein just went blurred. The anguish of Ali Akbar falling down was so immense and profound, everything blurred before the eyes of Hussein. Hussein gets up. My son has asked me for help. Abata adrikni. He's called me for help, but Hussein cannot see. Everything is blurred. Everything is blurred. He calls out, Ali Akbar, help me. Aina Ali, where are you? Call me out. Ali would say, Abata, oh my father, on the voice, and guided by the voice, Hussein would go. But because everything was blurred, he would not be able to see. A sword would come in his path. He would totter. He would fall down. He would get up, go forward. A body would come. He would stumble over it, fall down, pick up himself. Ali, where are you? Ali Akbar, where are you? A time comes when Hussein reaches the body of Ali Akbar. Last remnants of breath still now within the body of Ali Akbar. What does he see? He sees his 18-year-old investment covered in blood. He sits down with on his knees, puts the head of Ali Akbar on his thighs, starts caressing his head. Oh, my son Akbar, 18 years I have brought you up only to see this date, but Ridam Beqadai. But all of a sudden Hussein notices Ali Akbar is covering his chest with his two hands. With his hands. Hussein says, Akbar, what is this that you're covering? Ali Akbar says, let it be, father, you just talk to me. Hussein says, no, I want to see what is it that you're hiding from me. When Ali Akbar doesn't move, Hussein would have said, I place you under the oath of your grandmother Fatima to Zahra. Your father wants to see what are you concealing. Now Ali Akbar moves aside his hands, and what does Hussein see? The broken head of the spear entrenched within the chest of Ali Akbar. Ali Akbar now is in a state. Hussein cannot stop weeping. He says, Ali Akbar, you are the grandson of Ali Murtada. You help me to pull this out. Hussein puts one hand on that broken head of the spear, puts the second hand on the first, looks at Ali Akbar. Be firm, you are the grandson of Ali Murtaza. Now he turns to Najaf and says one sentence, Ya Ali Adrikni. He pulls the spear, head of the spear. The head of the spear comes out. With it comes out the heart of Ali Akbar. The soul of Ali Akbar goes. A fountain of blood gushes forth. The earth of Karbala begins to tremble. Zainab in the tent realizes something has happened. Comes out and calls out, oh brother Hussein, is there any way I can help you? Are Abba Hussein leaves the body of Akbar, turns to Zainab. Zainab, go back into the tent for your chadar and your veil. I have sacrificed my Ali Akbar. Va Aliya, va Akbara, va Husaina.
कहती थी ये माँ खून भरे लाशे से लिपट कर, है अली अकबर, है अली अकबर। अरमान था पहनाऊंगी पोशाक शहानी, अफसोस के रासाई ना तुझे कोई जवानी, के साथ मुकद्दर है अली अकबर, है अली अकबर। इतना तो जरा ठहरो तुम्हें दूल्हा बना लूं, बस एक झलक शहर की सुगरा को दिखा लूं। बेचैन है ख्वाहिश है अली اکبر ہے علی اکبر 18 برس پال کے پروان چھڑایا وہ گیسو والا ہے میرا خون میں نہایا یہ کیا ہوا دلبر ہے علی اکبر ہے علی اکبر ماں تیری جدائی میں بھلا کیسے جیے گی مر جائے گی سغرا جو خبر تیری سنے گی اب کیا کروں جی کر ہے علی اکبر ہے علی اکبر پہلے تو ایک آواز پہ اٹھ جاتے تھے بیٹا اب اتنی صداؤں پہ بھی پہلو نہیں بدلا کیا ہو گیا دلبر ہے علی اکبر ہے اکبر تم ہچکیاں لے کے جو دم توڑ رہے ہو منہ سے ہمیشہ کے لیے موڑ رہے ہو کیوں روٹھ ہو دلبر ہے علی اکبر ہے اکبر آئے جو ہمیں لوٹنے خیمے میں ستمگر ماں دے گی صدائے علی اکبر علی اکبر چھن جائے گی چادر ہے علی اکبر ہے جب کوئی جوان لاش نظر آتی ہے محشر ایک یاد سوئے کر وہ بلا جاتی ہے محشر دل روتا ہے کہہ کر ہے علی اکبر ہے علی اکبر
پھر سنا دے چہرہ مجھے پھر دکھا دے اپنی عزا پھر سنا دے چہرہ مجھے پھر دکھا دے کب تک تکوں تیرا رستہ
آجا میرے اکبر آجا آجا میرے اکبر میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
آ گیا ہے وطن سے، وعدہ کیا تھا بہن سے. آ گیا ہے وطن سے، وعدہ کیا تھا بہن سے. میں جلد آؤں گا سغرا،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
آئی ہے کیسی جوانی، تم ہو گیا تیرا پانی. آئی ہے کیسی جوانی، تم ہو گیا تیرا پانی. سینے پہ کھایا ہے نیزا،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
کیسے اٹھے گا یہ صدمہ، کہتے ہیں یہ شاہ والا. کیسے اٹھے گا یہ صدمہ، کہتے ہیں یہ شاہ والا. کیسے رہوں گا میں زندہ،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
تو شبیہ نبی ہو، شبیر کی زندگی ہو. تو شبیہ نبی ہو، شبیر کی زندگی ہو. مر جائے گا تیرا بابا،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
میں کیسے جیوں گی، فریاد کرتی رہوں گی. میں کیسے جیوں گی، فریاد کرتی رہوں گی. بچ جائے گا میرا سینہ،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
آ گیا ہے وطن سے، وعدہ کیا تھا بہن سے. آ گیا ہے وطن سے، وعدہ کیا تھا بہن سے. میں جلد آؤں گا سغرا،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
تو شبیہ نبی ہو، شبیر کی زندگی ہو. تو شبیہ نبی ہو، شبیر کی زندگی ہو. مر جائے گا تیرا بابا،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
آئی یہ کیسی جوانی، تم ہو گیا تیرا پانی. آئی یہ کیسی جوانی، تم ہو گیا تیرا پانی. سینے پہ کھایا ہے نیزا،
آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا، آجا میرے اکبر آجا.
ریحان دشت بلا میں، نوحہ تھا یہ کربلا میں. ریحان دشت بلا میں، نوحہ تھا کربلا میں مر جائے گی لیلا
آجا میرے اکبر آجا آجا میرے اکبر آجا آجا میرے اکبر آجا آجا میرے اکبر آجا ہے اکبر ہے اکبر اکبر ہے اکبر ہے اکبر ہے اکبر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو
اس غم پہ صبر کرنا شکوہ نہ لانا لب پہ
لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو
محرم ایک بپا تھا میدان عرض اٹھا تھا 18 سال والا میدان میں جو گیا تھا کیسے خبر سنی تھی آتا ہے نیزے کھا کر
لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو
گزری تھی کیا قیامت اکبر سے تھی عداوت کیا بتائے کوئی ایک ماں کے دل کی حالت سہتی تھی کیا اذیت دل کس قدر تھا مضطر
لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو
غم کی فضا سے کیسے خود کو نکالتی تھی بے چین دل کو اپنے کیسے سنبھالتی تھی نیزے کی زد میں تھا جب سینہ تمہارا اکبر
لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو
صحرا اگر ستانا بھیا ہمیں بلانا صغرا نے خط میں لکھا ہم کو نہ بھول جانا صغرا کے خط کو سن کر چلتے تھے دل پہ خنجر
لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو
خیمے میں لے کے لاشا کیسے گئے تھے مولا سینے پہ زخم اکبر جب آپ کے لگا تھا خیمے سے رن کی جانب کیسے گئے تھے سرور
لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو
زینب نے جس کو پالا اس نوجوان کا لاشا، ہاتھوں پہ شاہدی کے ایک ماں نے کیسے دیکھا، پردرد ہے یہ منظر کیسے لکھوں میں کیسے،
لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو بیٹے کی موت کا غم سہتی ہے کیسے مادر، لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو، لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو، لیلا کے دل سے پوچھو۔
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله، السلام عليك يا وارث نوح نبي الله، السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله، السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله، السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله، السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله، السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين ولي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى، السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى، السلام عليك يا فار الله وابن فاره والوتر الموتور، أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونحيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأسلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة، لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها، ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها، وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين، وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي، وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وعلام الهدى والغروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا، وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبيا بكم موقن، بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي، وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع، صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن الحسين الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها الشهيد وابن الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. لعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباءه، السلام عليكم يا أصفياء الله وأوداءه. السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله. السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدتي نساء العالمين. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الولي الزكي الناصح. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله بأبي أنتم وأمي. طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم وفزتم فوزا عظيما، فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأحوطهم على الإسلام. أشهد لك أن نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك فنعم الأخ المواسي. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة استخلت منك المحارم وانتهكت حرمة الإسلام. فنعم الصابر المجاهد المحامي الناصر والأخ الدافع عن أخيه المجيب إلى طاعة ربه الراغب فيما زهد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل، وألحقك الله بدرجة آبائك في جنات النعيم. اللهم إني تعرضت لزيارة أوليائك رغبة في ثوابك ورجاء لمغفرتك وجزيل إحسانك، فأسألك أن تصلي على محمد وآله الطاهرين، وأن تجعل رزقي بهم دارة وعيشي بهم قارة وزيارتي بهم مقبولة وحياتي بهم طيبة، وأدرجني إدراج المكرمين، واجعلني ممن ينقلب من زيارة مشاهد أحبائك مفلحا منجحا، قد استوجب غفران الذنوب وستر العيوب وكشف الكروب، إنك أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا تسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي. السلام عليك يا سيدي مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان، سيدي الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا.